Good evening, dear listeners, and welcome to the cosmic highway of enigmas and the unknown. You are tuned into the realm where the veil between science and the supernatural thins, where the search for truth takes us through the stars and deep into the corridors of power. This is Anthony Sanchez, and I'm your navigator on this journey through the shadows of disclosure. Hello there, this is Anthony Sanchez, and from UFO Currents. You're listening to this on the Strange Radio Central podcast. And I'd like to bring up some points that bring an important perspective to the conversation on UFOs and UAPs. Perhaps reflecting on a national look into, well, actually an international look into everything that has been transpiring. And I want to say that a rational approach to technological advancements and the search for aliens is something that needs to be adhered to. Because too often there's an irrational approach. There's a lot of squabbling between the skeptics and the believers, and it can get daunting at times. But what am I talking about? Recently on Facebook, somebody had said to me that the fact that aliens have not come to Earth is because they don't exist. That all of the advanced technology that humans possess today has zero to do with any reverse engineering of non-human technology that comes from non-human entities, whether it be cryptoterrestrials, extraterrestrials, or ultra-terrestrials. But the progress humanity has made in technology over the past 120 years is indeed impressive. And in many ways could be attributed to the collective efforts of countless brilliant minds. We know this. The competitive nature among the superpowers and the constant drive for innovation between private sector companies, corporations, that coupled has undoubtedly propelled all of us forward, technologically. However, the argument against reverse engineering of alien technology isn't entirely dismissive, and can't be dismissive of the numerous accounts, credible accounts, and documents that suggest otherwise. Individuals like Lieutenant Colonel Phil Corso, David Grush, Bob Lazar, all those individuals have provided compelling narratives that tend to challenge our conventional understanding of technological advancement. Because their claims, controversial as they may be, what they do is they invite us to consider the possibility that our technological leaps may have been influenced. And they may have been influenced in part by non-human intelligence, a product of reverse engineering, whether it be extraterrestrial machines, craft, or leftover pieces of technology, advanced technology from civilizations that no longer exist. I constantly bring this up in a lot of my talks because it really stands out to me. The work that Randall Carlson did years ago, demonstrating that over the past 150,000 years, there may have been 16 highly advanced human civilizations that have come and gone. You see, bones of modern humans like you and like me were discovered as far back as 150,000 years ago. Now, the mitochondrial Eve theory states that modern humans came out of Africa and ventured across the globe some 250 to 300,000 years ago. Excuse me. But the bones that match us exactly were found 150,000 years ago. So that tells me if our civilization has only knowingly had writing and ventured away from being hunter-gatherers and established farming, agriculture, over the past 8,000 years, I want to say, yet Göbekli Tepe and Pumapunku and the Sphinx in Egypt clearly show that they have been around far longer than that. Then, like Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock state, we are the product of a civilization that met a cataclysmic end and then was rebooted back to the Stone Age. So that makes me think there have been 16 previous human civilizations, potentially, some of which were highly advanced, and we do see evidences of this. So it's possible that we've discovered pre-existing technology from other human civilizations that are no longer among us. Think the Atlanteans, dare I say the Lemurians, but that's not the only thing that this individual had attributed to the advanced technology that we see, and it not being a part of human innovation. It being solely a part of human innovation. Excuse me, oh my goodness. I need my coffee, which I did make. It's over there, sitting over there, but I haven't gotten it. He also brought up the Drake equation. Okay, well, who am I talking about? There was an individual at Facebook who replied to a post that I made about last week's podcast. And actually, there were several individuals, not just one, there were several. And collectively, they brought up a lot of good points. They made a lot of good points. But I think that it is possible that I could intellectually debate these gentlemen and prove that what they are saying is not correct. One of them brought up the Drake equation. Using the Drake equation as an excuse for aliens, or no, as validation that no alien has ever visited the planet Earth. Okay, so let's talk about that regarding the Drake equation and the probability of extraterrestrial life. What the equation does is, yes, it highlights the vast potential for life beyond Earth. So I find it confusing that that's what he would have used as his argument for there not being exoplanets, for there not being other potential living entities elsewhere across the galaxy and into the observable universe. Yeah. Because the Drake equation highlights the vast potential for life beyond Earth. And while it also points to the challenges of making contact, given the immense distances and the current limitations of our technology, it doesn't entirely rule out the possibility. The recent acknowledgments by governments around the world of UAP sightings, which defy our known physics, suggest what? They suggest that we're not alone. They're not saying extraterrestrials. No one's saying extraterrestrials because it could be cryptoterrestrials. What are cryptoterrestrials? Mac Tonnies wrote a book, and he relied on information for what he had espoused throughout his publication, the cryptoterrestrials. There are other people that talked about this years before Mac Tonnies, but he was brilliant. He put together a really nice book. I think Greg Bishop wrote the foreword or was somehow involved with that book. It's been years since I've read it. I have it somewhere over there. But what I remember, what stood out to me, is that there's the possibility that there are other entities that live on this planet that are non-humans, non-human entities. Perhaps of the gray alien variety, or maybe the gray terrestrial variety, or reptilians, or quasi-humans. I don't know. But let's say 16,000, 32,000 years ago, during one of these cataclysms, they looked at humanity and said, enough is enough. These people are dangerous. They kill one another. They are encroaching on all of the land and doing unthinkable things, unspeakable things. And they recognized that perhaps we had numerical superiority and they wanted to just get the heck out of Dodge. That's possible. So, I just think that the recent acknowledgments by governments around the UAP sightings tells us that there's something else going on that is not born of human ingenuity. Some people say that it's reverse engineered technology that is being used by the military industrial complex, specifically aerospace firms, to create our stealth technology and whatnot. And that's probably true. But I don't think that it is 100% born of human ingenuity. Humans are awesome. That is clear. But there might have been a hand involved that is of non-human entities. The vastness of the universe and the ongoing discoveries of potentially habitable exoplanets, I always have trouble with that word. What they do is they lend credence to the argument that life in some form likely exists elsewhere. The notion that we may have already encountered evidence of this, whether through direct contact or through the remnants of technology that surpasses our understanding, that remains a subject worthy of open-minded investigation and discussion. That's why we have groups like MUFON that have these incredible symposiums, conferences, not to mention the hundreds of others, perhaps maybe 1,000 or 2 conferences that happen annually. In the United States alone, just in the United States alone, specifically geared towards UFOs, UAPs, non-human entities, and other paranormal and supernatural topics. In essence, while the probability of direct alien contact might seem remote to some, the cumulative evidence of UAP sightings and whistleblower accounts opens the door to the possibility that we have more to learn about our place in the cosmos, because it's a journey of discovery, one that requires both skepticism and openness, especially as we continue to unravel these mysteries. Moving on, there was a lot of emphasis placed on the man-made high-tech craft of various sorts. And we just talked about that, but I'll say that the basis of many UFO sightings reported over the years. Okay, this is something I want to say. I believe that humanity's exponential leap from the Wright brothers' 120-foot, 12-second flight of Flyer 1 at Kill Devil Hills near Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, way back in 1903 to today's Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II and the Boeing X-37B orbital test vehicle, both of which incorporate integrated circuitry, stealth technologies, GPS, and advanced means of communication. They demonstrate a significant evolution. So, in the 121 years from the Wright brothers to now, we've seen advancements that dwarf the progress made in the tens of thousands of years leading up to 1903. Despite no significant in brain size, thought capability, and the potential for greatness throughout human history. So it seems plausible to assume that non-human intelligence may have played a role in fueling this exponential leap in technology. But not just technology, perhaps societal advancements and other fields such as science, medicine, architecture, engineering. And I would go so far as to say philosophy, literature, and the arts. Why not? But that's all I want to talk about. On that, let's move on to something else. There was another person that said that until NASA and SETI tell them that there are aliens or non-human entities that exist here on Earth that perhaps may have advanced technology, that they will keep on thinking that there are no aliens, that there is no other intelligent species other than humans. So that's kind of tough to accept, that there is an entire contingent of people on the planet that will only adhere to the information that adheres from organizations like NASA and SETI. Well, I recognize that scientists at NASA and SETI are knowledgeable and have good intentions. There is a prevailing sentiment that NASA has sometimes obscured the truth. They have withheld information from the public, a public that is eager for transparency. On the other hand, SETI, particularly Seth Shostak, who posits the abundance of Earth-like planets, that suggestion from Seth presents a high likelihood of alien existence, a view that I share, many of you that are listening share, and that leads me to trust SETI's openness over NASA's. Moreover, I think it's fair to say that while this individual states they will only trust NASA and SETI because those are the preeminent figures within the sphere of scientific and technological research based on space, I would argue that I also value insights from prominent figures across various fields who are at the same level. For instance, Avi Loeb, who is a theoretical physicist at Harvard University. He talked to us about Oumuamua, and now he's talking about these spherules that they're finding in the bottom of the ocean, both that are perhaps born of non-human ingenuity, evidence of non-human technology, extraterrestrial technology. Gary P. Nolan, who is an academic and professor at Stanford University who put together the Soul Foundation. Pretty smart guy. I've heard him on various podcasts. And then there is a professor of religious studies at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, Diana Walsh-Pasulka. I saw her on the Concrete podcast with Danny Jones. Hey, I remembered it this time. My last podcast, I was so nervous. I couldn't recall Danny Jones' name, which is freaking ridiculous. The guy's awesome. Then, there's Jacques Vallée, a computer scientist, an author, an astronomer with degrees from France and here in the U.S. at Northwestern University. So I also want to emphasize that I listen because it's crucial to critically evaluate and form opinions based on the expertise and perspectives of such individuals. I listen. If advanced civilizations are indeed visiting us, their reasons for not landing could be as varied and as complex as their technology. It might be due to reasons of safety, non-interference, or perhaps they're studying us in a way that doesn't require direct contact. Here's something else to think about too. When I look at crop circles, I wonder if they're leaving us messages about them sharing the natural resources of the earth, perhaps taking grain and various other crops like corn to sustain themselves. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I know that the landowners of the various crop sightings probably would, but anyhow. Okay. There was another person that had left a comment saying that a fake invasion is imminent. They said the fake invasion will take place next. So, what are they talking about? There is this wild idea floating around about a fake invasion happening soon. And what kind of makes that compelling is when you think about John Ramirez, who's a former CIA guy, who throws out 2027 as a year that aliens might just decide to show up and say hi to humanity. It's pretty wild to think about. I mean, imagine waking up one day to find out we're not alone in the universe and it's all scheduled for 2027. You gotta get all your affairs in order, get your stuff prepared. I don't know. But the whole concept of the fake invasion really gets the imagination going. Yet, beyond the theories and the what ifs, Ramirez's prediction kind of gives us something concrete to chew on. It's like, okay, people, mark your calendars. We might have some extraterrestrial guests in a few years. Visitors. And it makes you wonder how we'd all react. How would the world change? And where we would fit into this bigger cosmic picture. So while we're all gearing up for the possibility, some of us are just enjoying the speculation, it's important to keep an open mind and not jump too far into the deep end without a life jacket or of skepticism. Because I'm not saying that Ramirez was counterintelligence, but David Grush was counterintelligence. But some of these things we have to take with a grain of salt. I know a lot of us want to believe everything that comes out from whistleblowers, but don't jump too far into the deep end without a life jacket of skepticism. Let's keep the conversation legitimate. Let's keep it going. Let's stay curious. And who knows? Maybe we'll be a part of something truly out of this world in 2027. I don't know. Okay. Oh. Yeah. So there was another guy who, by the way, I'm thankful for everybody that leaves a comment at the UFO Currents Facebook page. That's what I want. I'm hoping people leave comments on the videos as well. Because every time someone leaves a comment making their proclamation regarding the discourse of the ufological sphere, we pay attention. So this one individual said, he said, with regards to aliens, why we have never met aliens. He said, Arctic Treaty prevents you from ever meeting them. Smiley face. Well, he made a mistake. It's the Antarctica. It's in Antarctica, and it's referred to as the Antarctic Treaty. And I'll tell you about what that's all about. But okay, so clearly he meant the Antarctic Treaty is preventing us from meeting the aliens. That's one theory. However, the UAPs that have been observed on radar, in videos, the UFOs that have been photographed, might be seen as a prelude to encounters. Perhaps we have met them already. It's fascinating to consider that the Antarctic Treaty, in this context, comes to light. You see, the treaty is a unique diplomatic agreement, and it was established to ensure that Antarctica remains a zone dedicated to peace, scientific research, and free from territorial disputes or military activity. It's supposed to symbolize a collective commitment that will preserve the pristine continent for exploration, study, not exploitation or conflict. Sometimes I have difficulties with words. Like Trump says, I know words, I have the best words, but for me, they don't come out because of my Guillain-Barré syndrome. Still have difficulty. I didn't speak for 2 years. For 18 months, it was like nothing. I couldn't say anything. I was like, blah, 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 and I was like scribbling. But when I did start speaking again, I would say at the end of 2021, the beginning of 2022, I could only go for brief moments, then I have to cut it off. So, sorry about that. Anyway, the intrigue around Antarctica and the Antarctic Treaty it does extend into the realm of UFOs and UAPs. How? The research. Because of the continent's remote, largely unexplored nature. I actually know somebody that's been down there. Author Brad Olson. He's actually been down there. I should have him on to talk about this topic. But some speculate that its vast icy expanses could conceal secrets from advanced alien civilizations or remnants of ancient, technologically sophisticated human societies that existed long ago. The idea of human bases, technologies, or even UFOs under the ice taps into our deepest curiosities about what mysteries our planet holds. And while the treaty itself focuses on preserving the area for peaceful purposes, it inadvertently adds fuel to the speculative fire about what might be found there if we were able to look without restriction. They don't let people go there. Not anybody's allowed to go there. So everything is very controlled down there. So I want to end it with this. This intertwining of international agreement and speculative possibility makes Antarctica a real focal point for those interested in the potential intersections of human history, extraterrestrial activity, and unexplained phenomena. Would you like to go to Antarctica? I would. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, this is a little bit lighthearted. Another person left a comment that said, Anthony, outer space is not that way. It's that way. What the heck does that mean, man? I mean, what does that mean, dude? Okay. In reality, outer space extends and exists in every conceivable direction from any point within the observable universe. If I'm going to dive deeper into that, it's pretty mind-blowing to think about the true nature of outer space. We're used to pointing up when we talk about space. But in the grand scheme of things, space surrounds us in all directions. It's like we're floating in a cosmic ocean, with potential discoveries and mysteries lying not just above us, but in every direction that you can possibly imagine. This concept challenges our earthbound perceptions, and then it invites us to think more three-dimensionally. It's a humbling reminder of our place in the galaxy, in the universe, and it encourages us to look beyond the horizon in every single direction. So, outer space is not that way, it's that way. I didn't know what that comment was about, but I thought I'd address it. This is not necessarily ufological, but this was brought up. Somebody asked me the question, are maps fake? Are maps fake? Okay. Again, not related to UFOs, but I thought because it was brought up at the UFO Currents Facebook page, I would address it. Maps themselves are not fake. They serve a practical purpose. However, the concept of borders and boundaries that person may have considered, or referred to, those are a human's construct. The concept of borders and boundaries is a human construct. Given that no one truly owns the Earth, which is a part of the solar system, in our galaxy, within the observable universe, that makes the idea of maps, boundaries, borders, ownership, conflicts over territories, kind of ludicrous. I remember talking with my son recently, and actually I'm pretty sure I made this comment to both of my sons in two different times, two different conversations. That is, on the planet Earth, of all the millions of creatures that reside on this planet, we're the only one that is forced to pay to live on this planet. Monetarily. Chimpanzees don't pay, dolphins don't pay, birds don't pay, frogs don't pay, but we pay. So, it's kind of interesting to think about. It's fascinating when you think about how these lines that are drawn on a map, but every time I think about maps, I think about Johnny Harris on YouTube. This guy loves maps. And I love his podcast, by the way. But when you think about how these lines drawn on a map have this incredible, massive impact on our lives, from who we consider neighbors to the places that we can travel without a visa, these imaginary lines, they dictate a lot. But if we zoom way out to a universal scale, those lines all disappear. It puts things into perspective. Suddenly, our shared home in the universe, or in the galaxy, seems a lot more united. we're not the only solar system with planets. It's a reminder that while maps help us navigate our world, the stories and struggles that they represent are part of a bigger picture of human coexistence. And this tiny planet in the vast expanse of space, speaking of struggles, human coexistence, that was another question that was asked. I don't know if it was the same person. It might have been the same person that asked that, are maps fake? The other question was, and we're going to end it with this. Oh, no, before I jump into that, the last little piece. The other thing that I forgot in my other podcast, remember Danny Jones, I forgot Danny Jones' name, was the iOmega zip drive. I talked about the UFO floppy disk program that I had from the mid-1990s, which I still have in my closet somewhere. And it's on the server behind me. There's actually a server over there. It was infested with virus, man. It was bad. But I put it onto an iOmega zip drive. No, I put it onto a isolated machine, a little desktop. Extracted all the files, all the information, sanitized it, moved it onto an iOmega zip drive. Look that up, iOmega zip drive. It was like the precursor to the USB drive. For those of us back in the 90s and the very early 2000s, iOmega zip drives were cool. They looked cool and they could fit in your laptop bag. They're kind of cool. Okay, moving on. That person that asked, are maps fake? We're going to end the show on this. They asked, are wars fake? The first thing that came to my head was certainly not for those who are dying and suffering. And again, that's not a ufological question. Absolutely, the impact of war is very real and profound for so many people. While the concept of war might be dissected in various theoretical or philosophical debates, its consequences are tangible and far too often heart-wrenching. Families lose loved ones, communities are destroyed, and nations are left to rebuild from the ashes. We're seeing that happen right now, and not just in one place. The pain, loss, and trauma experienced by those caught in the crossfire or those serving on the front lines are far from fictional. Wars, unfortunately, have shaped our history and continue to influence our present, reminding us of the importance of striving for peace and understanding in a world that is too often divided by conflict. So are wars fake? No. Wars are not fake. Real people getting hurt, real families mourning, and cities having to rebuild from scratch. That's not fake. It's not just something we can call fake. Every story of loss or a soldier coming home is a stark reminder of war's harsh reality. It's something that's touched way too many lives for us to just question its authenticity. I'll end it with this. It's about real pain and the hope for peace. Something we should all remember and work towards. Thank you for being with me on Strange Radio Central. My name is Anthony F. Sanchez. Oh, hey, you know what? Go get this. Oh, man, I don't know if you can see it or not. UFO Highway. What the hell? Oh, you know what? You get this. You got a free bookmark with my book to UFO Highway. Look at that. UFO Highway 2.0, Revisiting the Hidden Expanse. It's pretty dang cool. It's a good book. I think it's got 430 something pages of really cool information. I know that I promised you last time that I was going to talk about the universe and Dr. Einstein, a book that I got. And I will. But I'm still working on that for a future podcast. But if you're interested, you can go to UFOcurrents.com right now, and there's an article that I put up. And just look for the picture of Einstein. All right, this is Anthony signing off. Thank you so much. I really care about you guys. And thanks to everyone who visited UFO Currents over at Facebook and left the comments, because that was the makeup of today's show. Bye-bye, guys. As we near the end of our time together tonight, let us not be disheartened by the barriers to disclosure. Instead, let us be inspired by the relentless pursuit of knowledge and truth. So keep watching the skies, keep asking questions, and above all, keep the conversation alive. Until next time, this is Anthony Sanchez, signing off from Strange Radio Central of UFO Currents. Good night, and may your questions lead you to the stars. Thank you guys, take care, and I will see you on the next episode.